Hi, I'm Luke. Today on Out of Darts, we are going to check out a really cool 3D printed blaster, the MHP Magpie. First, I wanted to just say and acknowledge that this past weekend we lost Thomas of Containment Crew. He was a bright, shining light in this community. He welcomed me in when I joined, and he was certainly an inspiration in getting my own shop up and running when I first started. My heart goes out to him and his family, and Charles, his amazing business partner, and I'm sure that they will keep Containment Crew going, but there's nothing else to say. I miss him so much, and that's all I can say right now. But I did want to acknowledge that it's one of the reasons I haven't been posting as much this past week, and I've been a little out of it. So this blaster is the MHP Magpie. MHP standing for Mr. Heath Pants, a really more and more well-known creator in the hobby. Now, I had actually bought one of his blasters ages ago, the original flywheel blaster that he had designed, and I unfortunately never got it working properly. He did eventually send me the replacement parts when I bothered him about it, but I've never been able to dig in and get this thing firing properly. So I didn't ever get to do a proper review on that one. When my buddy Beret got the Magpie, I begged him to loan it to me to get to do a review, since MHP is not necessarily producing these in mass scale because it is sort of a more specialty blaster. This is a Flywheel the World powered micro flywheel 6-round revolver. Now that is a mouthful, obviously, but the function is fairly similar to, say, the Ultra 2, where you've got a dual stage trigger, so it revs, and then that small pusher comes out and pushes the dart. The blaster is a huge improvement from some of his earlier works, and to be fair, this blaster was like his first, I think it was his first release, as far as I know, but his design aesthetic has come a long ways, and he's beyond me in many ways as far as designing goes. But that's one of the reasons I wanted to feature it on the channel. This is a type of blaster that I probably wouldn't design myself, so I think it's really important that we keep spotlighting other creators that are out there. And so I've also ordered a few other 3D printed blasters from other makers, and I'll be reviewing those on the channel as well, because I just love seeing new concepts, new designs, and more 3D printed blasters. So with that two-stage operation, you get very simple operation, and it's just point and click. You can, of course, rear load these cylinders from the back, which makes it quite easy to reload on the fly. Then simply toss that cylinder in, lock it in place, and you're good to go again. And so as fast as you can pull that trigger, it will generally fire. Now, obviously, if you really wrench on the trigger really fast, your flywheels are not going to get up to speed as far, so your accuracy or at least your FPS, your velocity, will be a bit lower. This blaster has some really nice features. I think the styling is beautiful, and the especially nice touch is this wooden grip. Now, this is a wood filament grip that's been post-processed and sanded, so it even takes on some different colors, likely based on how much sanding was done or potentially actual print temperature. But what that means is it's got sort of a true wood look that you can see here in the close-ups. Now, you can, of course, still see the lines in the cool little Magpie logo and places where you can't reach to sand, but the effect overall is still very nice. I will say, as much as I would love to offer something like this wood grip on the shop, the amount of labor that goes into sanding and post-processing this is just quite a bit too high for us to be doing at any decent scale. The battery is housed in the grip, which makes this blaster have a considerably more comfortable grip than anything that's got to get a magwell inside, just due to the smaller gap between where your inside of your palm rests and where your middle finger rests. So it's got a very comfortable feel. It's a very nice looking blaster. These files are available online. I'll have links down in the description. Additionally, he also used kind of a nice touch on the battery door. The battery door is a flexible piece of filament. I don't know if this is Ninja Flex or something similar, but it's a very effective way to make this reliable and wear resistant when sliding this battery door back on. The blaster's got a couple fun little features, such as a flip-up sight, which is kind of cute, I think. I don't know how effective it is, but it is still very fun. Now, I did not build this blaster. This was built by Mr. Heath Pants himself, and it was purchased by Beret. I do not believe he's doing a normal production run of these blasters, and I can imagine that's partially due to the complexity of the build. From what I can see, this looks like probably his most challenging blaster to print and build to date. It does require some post-processing and additional work to get everything in. Even though this one was built by him, it is still a little bit of a finicky blaster. There are some design things that are tough to overcome, such as if this dart fit is a little too tight in these cylinders, it becomes hard for the dart to leave the barrel. But if they're too loose, then they can slide through and jam. So I found that you kind of have to be a little more careful on what darts you put in here. But ultimately, I wouldn't say that this is like your primary class blaster. You're getting this for style points because it looks awesome. It's very actually realistic looking in some extents, but I like that the colors in this one specifically are nice and bright, white and orange, meaning that they will not be mistaken for an actual firearm. I love seeing other blasters and how other designers think and process and build and assemble, because we all have different approaches to how we do things, and mine's constantly changing as well and evolving over time. So I think it's really nice to see what others are creating. And there are more 3D printed blasters in this hobby than there have ever been. The quality is getting better and better. The amount of files that you can find out there are just staggering. And I think that's just fabulous, because the more people out there making cool stuff, the better. I hope you enjoyed this look at the Magpie. It is a very entertaining blaster, a very fun piece to own. I wish it was mine, but I will have to perhaps give this one back to Beret. He told me I was not allowed to range test this like I did the Dart Rover, which I broke. But thank you for watching. Do hit that like and subscribe button. We have a couple big videos coming up and a lot of big releases. Tarek has been working on a very special project that we are going to release in about a month on the shop, and the Proton Packs right there is also nearly complete, just waiting on a last piece of hardware. So I hope to have those up for both pre-sale and then general sale very, very soon. Until next time, I'm out of darts.